All right, so now we're looking at the 4-note away, which is going to be a major third. So this third right here represents that it's the third note down when we count from the top. So it's the third note down. And this 4 represents that it has a distance of 4 because it is a third. And in chord constructions, we skip every other note. We have the 1, the 3, the 5. That means that we have the same naming construction when we look at the third for our chord construction, so that makes it easy. However, the third is the thing that's going to be different between a major chord construction and a minor chord construction, and is also the defining characteristic or factor or interval defining the modes as either major modes or minor modes. So it's an important one. Remembering, I'm going to classify Locrian in essence as a minor mode because it does have a minor third in it. So when we look at the major thirds, we have the major third interval that's going to be in the Ionian, the Lydian, and the Mixolydian. All right, so let's go ahead and say we're going to count it from here, and we've got a major third up this way. So I'm counting from this C. We're going to be measuring around this C right here. So it's going to be 4 notes up. So we're going to just say 1, 2, 3, 4 notes up. So counting it out here, 1, 2, 3, 4 notes up. So there's the sound of it. Now, just for reference purposes, the minor third is going to be right behind it. So the minor third is a flattened third. You can think of it, 3-note away minor third. Now, I want to point that out because when we're looking, notice that when I'm looking at these modes, one way that you could start, there's a couple ways that I've been kind of playing with that we can kind of blend in things that are outside of the scale. One is the classic bluesy way to basically do it, meaning I can take the major scale and convert it into like a bluesy progression. And you can do that with either the Mixolydian mode or the C major. So these two, if I learn this shape, notice I can play the C major and I can try to convert the C major to more of a Mixolydian, which would be a minor, like a blues progression. Or I can look at the G Mixolydian, which already has like the bluesy progression in it, meaning it has a flat 7. So if I wanted to make this C be more bluesy, one way I could do it is, of course, is blend this note, the blues note, right? So we blend from the flat third to the major third. And then the other component that makes it more bluesy is that this 7. So we have a major 7. So if you wanted to play that back, right? Here's my 7. So I have, right? I could go from this. I could go from this would be the minor 7, and then the major 7. So instead of playing this 7, I could start to throw in this 7, right? The minor 7. Those are the two things that would basically kind of convert, smearing the third, and then tinkering with this note, which we could smear as well. And so that's going to be so you might want to, but we want to know where that minor is in any case. All right, so let's say we go above it. If I go above it, we're going to go up here. So I'm looking for a 4-note away major third distance. If I go above the string that I'm counting from, I have to look for the inverse distance. So the inverse distance of a 4-note away major third would be 12 minus 4, which would be 8 notes away, which from an interval construction, which would be a minor 6. So we're going to say this is going to be -5 between the strings. I go negative when I go up above it, and there's 5 notes between the strings. And then when I go back, I go more towards negative. So negative 6, 7, and 8. So let's count it out here. So -5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be right there. So from top to bottom, that would be an 8-note away, which would be a minor 6, and therefore from bottom to top would be a 4-note away major third. So the inverse of a major is always a minor. The inverse of a 4-note away major third is an 8 note away, which would be a minor 6. So if I can see that shape, I want to be able to start to just visualize, oh, that's a minor 6, and the inverse therefore is a major third, or that's a major third inverse. The inverse is a minor 6. And then where would if I flatten this, that would be the minor third. So if I was trying to do something bluesy thing, right, I would be going from something like that, right? And then, so let's go, and so that means that if I go up one string, the 4 note away major third will be 1, 2, 3 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which would only happen on the B string. So if I was on the B string, let's go out here. If I was on this C and I go up one string, it's going to be further back because this tectonic plate would shift it to the right. So the rule is if I go up one string, the 4 note away major third will be 3 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which would only happen on the B string, in which case if I go up one string, the 4 note away major third would be 4 frets back. All right, let's go up 2 strings. Bring this back. 2 strings to, what am I looking for? An E. So right there. So I'm looking for the 4 note away major third if I go up 2 strings. So that's going to be, I'm looking for 4 note away major third, which has an inverse distance because I'm going above it of 12 minus 4, which is 8. So I'm looking for a distance of 8. -5 between the strings, -10. And then if I go this way, it goes less negative, right? -9, -8. So I'm going to say, let's count it out this way. It's going to be from here, -5, -10, and then 9, wait, -10, and then 9, 8, right there. So if I went from top to bottom, from E to C, that would be an 8 note away, which would be a minor 6, and therefore from bottom to top, C to E would be the inverse distance, would be the 4 note away major third. Where's the minor third? It's going to be right behind it, flattening the third, 3 note away minor third. So if you did like a bluesy blending thing, and the question is which finger should I do that with? If I'm holding down this C, maybe I can do it with my middle, or maybe you're more comfortable doing it with your ring. And then the question is, should I ring out that D? That D is the second. It's going to be somewhat of a harshy sound because it's a second, but it's still in the key, so I could ring it out. Or I could try to mute it. So I'm still trying to hit the C as I blend up, dependent, so you can kind of play with that. It's kind of fun to play with the open strings. Any case, we got then, so that means that if I go up 2 strings, the 4 note away major third will be 1 fret forward unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the bottom 2 strings, E or the B or the E string. So if I go from this C and I go up 2 strings, it would be here. So the rule is if I go up 2 strings, then the 4 note away major third will be 2 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the bottom 2 strings, the B and the E string, in which case if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 4 note away major third would be 1 fret forward. All right, let's go to the top string. If I go up here, this is the long distance. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets back, which means it's also going to be 6 frets forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second, it's only 5 frets back. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets back. There we go. All right. So let's count that out. If I count that out, it's going to be, I'm looking for a 4 note away major third. Therefore, the inverse distance is 12 minus 4, which is an 8 note away, which would be a minor 6. So it's going to be -5, -10, -15. There's only 12 notes. 15 minus 12 is 3. So that's going to be at -3. And then going this way is going up in the negative direction, -3, -4, -5, 6, 7, 8. So let's do it from here. So -5, -10, -15. 15 minus 12 is 3. 3, -4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from here, open, if I played from open to the C, that would be an 8 note away minor 6. And therefore from C up to the E is going to be a 4-note away major third. All right, so that means, and the minor third is not available because we ran into the nut, right? So there's nothing back. You'd have to go back beyond there. So that means if I go up 3 strings, the 4-note away major third is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets back, unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the B or the E string. So let's look at this C and say we went up 1, 2, 3 strings. Then it's going to be way back here. It's going to be further back because this tectonic plate shifted the route that we're looking at forward. So the rule is if I went up 3 strings, the 4-note away minor third would be 5 frets back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is just reachable, although it's difficult on this side of the guitar. And unless I cross the fault line, which happens on the B or the E strings at the bottom, in which case if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 4-note away major third will be 6 frets back, which is basically right in the middle, just out of reach, which means we'll also have 6 frets forward as well. It's right. It's be a perfect triangle or an equilateral triangle. Is that what they call it? An upside down equilateral triangle. I think that's it. Let's go down and say we go below it here. All right, so now we're going to go, now we don't have to take the inverse distance. So 4-note away major third. If I go down, then I'm going to look for 4 notes away. But I'm crossing the fault line, which is this tectonic plate. So this is the only time that I could go down 1 string and cross the fault line. So if I go down 1 string, it goes diagonal, which would be 5, and then back to 4. So if I did that from here, it's going to be 5 and then back here to 4. So that's the one time that the shape looks wonky here. It looks like it because normally it would be back here, right? So in other words, if I wasn't crossing the fault line, which would be in every other position, including on this continent down below, because I wouldn't be crossing the fault line if I go down 1 string or any other string, it's going to look like that. So that means that normally if I go down 1 string, the 4-note away major third is normally 1 fret back unless I cross the fault line, which would only happen on the G string, in which case if I go down 1 string, the 4-note away major third and cross the fault line is right below it on the same fret. Where's the minor? It's right behind it. So if you were to kind of mess with this one, it's kind of like, how would you finger that? It's a little wonky. You would think it'd be easy to finger the one right underneath it. But if I'm trying to play this and the one above it, then it's like, which finger? Or you can try to do it by hammer on. Yeah. Anyway. All right, let's go down to the bottom fret. So we're going to go down to here. So now we're going to go back to here. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets back. All right, so if I go down to the bottom string, then I'm counting for a 4-note away major third, which is going to count this way, 5, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So let's count it out this way. If I'm here, it's going to be 5, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Open E, so C to open E. So that means if I go down 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 4-note away major third is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets back. What if I don't cross the fault line? If I'm on this C up here, then I wouldn't cross the fault line. I would not cross the fault line if I go down 2 strings on either, if my starting point was the E or the A string. So if I went down 2 strings here, I'd be back to here. Is that right? Yeah. So that means it'd be a longer distance because this pushed the bottom note forward, this tectonic plate shifting up. So normally if I go down 2 strings, the 4-note away major third will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets back, which is just out of reach. which means it's also going to be 6 frets forward. If I went this way, it's the wrong button. It's also going to be 6 frets forward out this way, equilateral triangle or whatever. I think that's the name for it. And so unless I cross the fault line, in which case if I go down, which would happen, by the way, on either the D or the G string, in which case if I go down 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 4-note away major third will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets back. All right, let's go to the next one. I won't tell another joke because that last one was a long one, and I possibly could have angered people. I don't know. It's hard to tell these days what people get angry at. So I try not to worry too much. But anyway, it was long.